these people have already taken it up. The latest, newest green code that's being written, the Living Building Challenge, basically says you can't build on new infrastructure and be green. They're taking an absolute hard line. It's a prerequisite. The idea is we have enough built infrastructure in this country. There's no reason we should be building buildings where we don't already have streets and sewer and everything there for it. We don't need to build sprawl land because we got plenty of built infrastructure. So this is going to be the next generation green code that's going to challenge our assumptions and ramp us up to more stringent. We in the preservation business will be happy with that idea because we're already promoting rebuilding where we already have resources and infrastructure. Now, I mentioned there's these 5 major categories of marketing or measuring green behavior. I'm going to go through these 5 categories and look at how does that affect us as historic homeowners. What would we be doing? The first of these is something we don't have a lot of control over, which is location. We have control over the site. But if you locate it in an historic district, what makes it green? Well, the attitude is proximity to other things, life choices, so that we don't have to use the car more is a very green strategy. So location preferences is about how quickly can we get to essential services? Can we walk to school? Well, there's a great new tool for that. Walkscore.com. How many know about Walkscore? Just a few. You can plug in any address in America. It's interfaced with Google Maps. It'll look at your address and tell you how close are you to shopping, schools, transit, infrastructure services, and give you a score of 1 to 100. Go check out your historic districts. You'll find your historic districts score really high. Great Walk Score. This is now starting to be integrated as a planning tool to say what makes a green neighborhood. It's proximity. So we're going to win on this one. Our historic districts that surround older downtowns are really good on both density and proximity, and this is an easy-to-use tool to help validate that. Now, there are new tools emerging that really are planning tools for creating neighborhoods that model what our historic and traditional neighborhoods have done. Lead for Neighborhood Development is a tool for planning. It actually is one of the few green tools that actually has an historic preservation identification section. So this one actually asks you to identify historic buildings, gives you a point for reusing them. But the fact that it's in the code, and actually we are in a big debate with the USGBC on this right now, because currently the Green Building Code says identify historic resources, but it doesn't give you any penalty if you demolish them. It doesn't give you, you get a reward if you reuse it, but there's no penalty for demolishing. And we're actually pushing them through a voting campaign to say we want that to be a prerequisite, not a voluntary action. And to tell you how difficult that is going to be, in the regular LEED system, the floodplain is treated the same way, meaning you get a bonus point if you don't build in a floodplain, but there's no prohibition. So come on, what's the disconnect here? So it's, again, we've got a reward-only system, no punishment, and from my end, demolishing an historic building ought to, say you can't be green. You've lost a resource just like farmland. And there is a movement towards that in some of the cultural metrics, but we're still at the table working that out, and I know Patrice might talk more about that. But anyway, these are good things that we're collectively starting to get preservation integrated. And this book, which is recent last year, kind of puts this all together, the idea that where we live in the greenest community is going to be this higher density walkable community has got strong consensus in the green building movement, and our historic districts match up. So we're not going to start from scratch building these, but the tools are all leading to the same conclusion that what we have is inherently green. Now, at the level of site design, what we do with our site around us, there's some interesting things happening for the homeowner. Clearly, protection of topsoil, how much site do you need, irrigation water that doesn't come from the stormwater runoff management. So let's look at some things that can make your site greener. Using native plantings that don't need to be watered, reducing the amount of lawn mowing. Here's a simple green strategy. The food, not lawns movement. Grow stuff. First Lady's putting up a garden around the White House. This has got huge popularity, growing and growing. Let's make something, let's use the land in a simple way. And to take this to the ultimate challenge, The urban chickens movement. How many of you are ready for this? New York has one. Seattle. There's Mad City Chickens. Google it. It's a video about Madison, Wisconsin's urban chicken ordinance and the first people. Now, here's the rules of this. Hens, not roosters. Roosters make too much noise. The hens are there for laying eggs, and we're managing the capacity. But this is a new trend in the green boom, and we used to do this.
But you don't get eggs left.
Well, you have guest roosters that come. But you know, just chickens. So, this is the future. This is the past. It's all coming together, guys. Old things are coming around again. Now, I showed you, Madonna, the materials thing, the issue of what buildings are made out of, stuff. And if you read the architectural magazines, you look at the green, there's lots of people talking about this because this is a big ad-driven component. My thing is greener than that thing because A, it's made from renewable products or rapidly grown products or it's salvaged or it doesn't have bad stuff in it. Although this PVC vinyl siding, the big debate in the green community, is PVC green or neutral or not, and we'll discuss that in a bit. So anyway, there's some broad questions about this, but not a lot of answers, and there's a lot of hype. And here we are, the consumer choice. You know, how bad is it going to be? These are false choices sometimes, guys. You know, they're not leading to a good impact. So, we got a solution. Why not this? Here's what the English say in their eco-home system. Existing element in a building is reused will automatically get an A rating as the environmental impact of replacing it is far greater than replacing it with a new element. Duh! This seems so simple. Automatic. If you just leave it there, you automatically get, and in this system, you get all the points for resources if you reuse the building. How logical is this? None of the American systems have this. This is only in English eco-homes right now. So I collectively think the English are about 5 years ahead of us on all these measurement metrics and performance goals. So this is the model we want. If you reuse an old building, you ought to get all the points that you get in materials. And forget about all those other measurements of buying new stuff. Let's give using existing stuff equal status. Now,